Hey everyone, it's Ari again. I'm a bartender and a software engineer wearing one of my favorite shirts. And I am so excited to bring you the next installment in the Meet the Masters series, where I talk with master distillers and get to better understand the industry. And hopefully you can too. In this episode, Steve is talking about blending versus single barrel. I was so excited because that's one of the questions I originally wanted to get answered. So uh, enjoy. And if you have any feedback, comments, etc., please leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe, of course. And I'm doing an entire series of these. So it's not just going to be Bardstown, though this has been a lot of fun. I've got others lined up, and I can't wait to share it with you. Talk about blending. Something I've been really interested in. Sometimes people talk about, well, single barrel is the best. Oh, hold up, And then, well, blending is a sin. There's, like in whiskey versus bourbon. Yeah, it's like, well, it's a single malt scotch. It has to be a single barrel. There's this whole thing about that. Yeah, explain blending to me, why it's good. What can you get out of blending versus like a single barrel?
Blending it's really come a long way in the last at least 10 years in bourbon. Yourself Scotch and Canadian products, they've been blending for up 10 years. And it's a common practice. Bourbon 15 years ago was done to cover up a bad product primarily. Well, more recently, blending in bourbon has come along to create a great product out of good products. And that's what we do here at Bardstown. We take really, really good products and create a better product out of it. And generally in blending, stay more consistent in blends with products like ours and Discovery and Fusion, where we blend products together and really good products out of them. A single barrel product is you go in a warehouse and you pick a really, really good product. And the difference in single barrels is one barrel to the other, the flavor profile is going to change.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be quite significant, and others it'll be fairly similar. Usually it's more significant than it is in blending. So that's the big difference, I think, in single barrels and blending, is that a single barrel is going to be 200 plus bottles out of a single barrel. It's going to have a unique flavor profile. And the next barrel you get out of maybe the same label from the same cup is going to have a different flavor profile. But it'll be distinguished by single barrel number 478 or whatever the barrel might be from Joe Doe's single barrel.
Yeah.
So it'll be unique for that barrel. Where blends are going to try to be more consistent, although there'll be a slight variation because the product is blended from are slightly different.
Yeah. And you can't guarantee consistency.
Right. They're usually different products to blend with.
Yeah.
But they're usually more consistent. Than single barrel is just a unique barrel that has been handpicked out of the warehouse by the distiller on the blender to showcase it.
Yeah, that's fair. So the single barrel used as a showcase, that's a honey barrel?
It's a honey barrel.
So okay. Yeah. Do you think that's a good term for it, honey barrel?
It is a good term for it. It's just a very, very great, good barrel that has been hand selected out of the thousands of barrels that's in storage within the company.
Sure, yeah. So can you use, speaking of the technology, because we were talking about technology earlier, that you could change things in real time, like your tumbler, insert, your grain, etc. Can you do the same thing with blending? Can you use technology to detect certain things in the distillate to make the blending more consistent? Or is it still just like a matter of taste?
I think you can.
Like, how analog is it?
I think you can help it some, or you can tell what's within the product, but it still comes back to the taste. You know, once you get the blend put together, you can run it on gas chromatograph or some kind of machinery to tell what's in the product, but it still goes back to taste. As far as that's what the final, result's going to be. Once I put it in the bottle, put it on the shelf, you go purchase it at a store, what your final opinion is going to be, what it tastes like.
Sure.
So, that's the final evaluation of it. So I think you can help it out, or you can tell if it's going to be a good drinkable product by analyzing on machinery. But again, it goes back to taste. So like I said, it's just modernization helps you along, but it all still goes back to what it tastes like.
Yep.